Okay, let's do a quick review from top to bottom of how you're going to process your NMR. Let's focus on the proton NMR. If you have the FIDs, they're the raw data, we need to process them. So in this case, this is a proton NMR, 1H auto process, and we get our spectra. In this sample, we have ethyl acetoacetate, which has an ethyl group, so you have a triplet and you have a quartet. And so as you are labeling this, you can do the peak pick. And so again, you go to peak, it should be the diamond with a dot, click somewhere in the middle of one of the middle parts of the multiplicity, get the peaks. That's a quartet, this is a singlet, and this is a singlet. These little tiny things here, however, are some impurities in this sample. So I have four peaks. I can do integrations. I know that this CH3 is actually it's a triplet, and it's a CH3. It's next to two protons. Right now it's integrating for 641, which we know these numbers are just ratios, so we can go to options, show options, and we can reset and normalize that to 3. And so when I go to integrate some of the other things, this comes out being almost 2. And so when you integrate, we want to integrate properly. So I know that this peak should be 2, but when I went, one of the things that I probably want to do is make sure I correctly integrate by zooming in and then integrating. So if I go to integral, arrow, click on the peak, I can delete it, and I can make sure that I can try and do a better job at my integration. So from one end of the peak, click, hold, and drag all the way across, and I see that the number is actually closer to 3. So in my software, I have the zoom where I can look at various options of zooming in, zooming out, going up, going down. So if my peaks are really little and I want to see them better, I can make them bigger or smaller. I know I have some other impurities in my sample, and that's what these little peaks are, but if I wanted to actually see them, I can see them. Under peak pick, I can do the same thing, and remember under the K there's some other options like J coupling and some other things are under there. But if I wanted to remove peaks, I would just click the little symbol with a line through it. Let's say I have a sample that is very dilute and there's a threshold on my sample, so I'm going to zoom in so I can show you. So if you look, there's a little line here on my spectra that if I try to integrate anything below that or put peaks below that, it won't let me. So let's say this line was here, I wouldn't be able to integrate or put peaks. Then that's just the threshold, and so it's a way that you can set what's a reasonable amount of noise, and anything above that would be your peak. So if that ever happens to you, you can always lower the threshold. It's not super critical in this course. You see the same thing under peak pick. We have annotations where we can write stuff on our spectra, and we have picture in picture where we can make our other pictures of our peaks and zoom in and move them around so we can see that. That's very helpful for your lab reports and for your instructor. You can draw molecules in your spectra. So for instance, if I wanted to paste a particular molecule in here, I'd have to have it pre-drawn, and then I can paste the molecule in, I can draw on the molecule, etc. Some of these other options are not that important to us. Now you have to look at what's the best way for you to process your information. I would recommend saving all your NMRs with everything that you do on it into a file somewhere, so you're not constantly re-downloading and redoing everything. To copy your information, if you have a PC, you can do snipping tools and just copy just the part of the screen that you want, or you can do a print screen, but you want to only get the part of the screen that's important, so don't grab the whole thing, crop your image, make it look more professional. And you could also print your spectras as images. There is PDFs. If you have a PDF writer on your computer, so Qt PDF writer for PCs is actually free. On Macs, they are included in your Mac. You just need to look at how to use it. You can save your file as a picture, so you can actually save it as a picture and then import it. So there are all sorts of various. I can save this as an actual image, and I'll give it a name, and that's where I can get. But play around with yours, because a lot of that is highly dependent on your actual computer.